Hello, Pamela Spence, medical herbalist here, and these are my clinic notes for the week. I guess they're non-clinic notes because I had to cancel clinic this week. The reason being that our whole family came down with COVID. So if you think that I'm not sounding like myself, I'm not yet, but I'm on the way to recovery. There's so much fear around catching this, which we caught through my son's primary school, where his teacher tested positive. And so we were in self isolation when we started to all get symptoms. One of the things I wanted to address, and the reason I really wanted to do some clinic notes about this, is because it's been a really interesting journey. And I thought some of it may be useful to you. So, first of all, we know there's a lot of fear around catching this. And I have to say that getting it feels a little bit like playing Russian roulette because you just don't know whether you're going to be lucky and it will be mild, or not lucky and you're going to end up really unwell. And so there's a significant amount of anxiety. Excuse me. So my colleagues and I have noticed this anxiety over the last year, and we've been trying to work out whether it is a symptom of COVID or whether it actually is just about the fact that you don't know how it's going to go. And what I would say is that I feel like the anxiety preceded the symptoms, and I've heard a lot of other patients say that too. So it's kind of slightly antsy feeling of not being right, not knowing what's going on. It didn't dawn on me at that point I could be sick with COVID because I didn't think I would get it somehow. But it is important to recognise that anxiety had quite a specific effect on us in that it tightened up our chest, made my chest feel tight. Not in a scary way, but then when I started to realise what may be going on, that quickly spiralled into something that made me feel really quite anxious. And not just for myself, but for my family as well. So one of the things that was very helpful to me, one of the things I found made it much worse, was caffeine of any kind made it feel much worse. And something that supported me has actually been really making sure that I'm drinking a lot of calming herbs. So one part of what happened early on with having COVID was that we all noticed as a family we were really thirsty. Like we wanted to drink gallons of liquid, and I've heard a lot of people say this. Now we felt like we were feverish, but we actually didn't have a temperature. However, that need for liquid. So what we did was that we made sure that we were drinking as many calming teas as possible, and that helped offset this and stopped us reaching for, tea or coffee, for example. I particularly found there was one day I really wanted to have coffee. I don't drink it very much, and I immediately I did. I felt this tightness, and that spiked the anxiety, and that's going to be partly because caffeine spikes adrenaline, but the sensation of not being able to take a proper breath was quite clear straight after taking it, and wore off within the time you would expect caffeine to wear off. So, little tip to keep you more comfortable. Hydrating's been really important, and I cannot stress enough how much you need to rest. So I'm known as, a person who does too much. I struggle with that all the time. That's why I run a community for women who do too much, because I've had to help myself stop doing that for years, and that's one of the things that I do, is help women with that. I'm not perfect at it. They are tools I'm using and refining every day of my life. So I was getting lots of messages from lovely friends and colleagues saying, you really must rest. And of course, after a couple of days when I was feeling better, I tried to do a bit more. And it definitely set me back. And I'm watching that happen with my family members too. My husband tried to go a slightly longer walk with our dog. We are allowed out, one of us, to walk our dog while we have this. And I watched him try to push it a little further and come back pale grey. And he was set back then. with his symptoms yesterday. The other thing is eating lightly is really helpful. We didn't feel much like eating anyway, but things that have really helped have been, I'm not a great fruit eater, I'm a vegetable eater, but not a great fruit eater, but really craving fresh fruit. Of course, that's delivering loads of stuff your body needs. It's also hydrating because it's really juicy. You can actually taste it, because to be honest, I can't really taste anything apart from that. But also what that does in terms of thinking of naturopathic medicine and traditional herbal ways is you're not asking your body to use a lot of the energy that it doesn't really have to digest a big stodgy meal. What you're doing is keeping what you eat very, very light, so that it can be well digested easily and quickly by your body, and it can turn its attention to fighting the virus. I did feel that my body was in a big battle, and we were not particularly sick. I would say it wasn't mild, but it was certainly not as bad as proper flu. But I had the sense there was a really big fight going on. My body was very much engaged in that. And so anything you can do to, lessen the other jobs it has to do. So eat, but eat lightly and eat really well. The reason I went for fruit is because it's sunny and warm right now. Had it been colder, I would have been doing soup instead, as a good way of getting nutrition into the body. Making sure you keep your body at the right temperature, so don't get cold. I found I felt much worse if I got cold. Keeping wrapped up. We've managed to sit outside in the sun, but with jumpers on, so that we're not getting a cold draft. So really just thinking about those basic things your body has to do and trying to make it as easy as possible for your body to do that. Lots of fluid, lots of rest, and not pushing it, being really very strict with yourself around pushing it, because each time I've watched my husband do it, we have set ourselves back. It's very clear and it's very quick. And I am aware that this is a virus that I've seen in patients, if they don't really honour that recuperation phase, it really can come back to bite them. So of course I've been taking herbs. I'm so grateful to have a dispensary at home. I'm very lucky that I have a lot in there that I can support the body with, that you can't buy over the counter. And we took it in large doses as well. But herbs that have featured that you would be aware of would be things like elderberry, features very highly for me, echinacea, and other immune supporting herbs. Thyme. We've also been drinking tea with fresh thyme from the garden. That's been really great to help when we felt coughs dropping down. It's been really good to help clear phlegm and keep them kind of up here. Anything that drops below there, I start to get worried about. And also one of my herbal students, who's an incredibly competent herbalist, just without the piece of paper, and a nurse of many years, said to me that one of the things they found helpful is to do 2 minutes of deep breathing, so right into the base of your lungs every hour, in a way that would be a similar protocol if you'd broken a rib. So you can go and look that up as well. It really does feel like Russian roulette. I am aware that we have dodged a bullet. I'm thankful for the herbal support that I did have, but actually, when you don't have a dispensary in your home like I do, there are plenty of things that you can do to just ease yourself along. And of course, I'm not saying that we have a cure for COVID here or any of that, but what we need to do is support our bodies in the best way possible. Some of the old nursing manuals actually on bathing and sweating it out and all that kind of thing can be really helpful right now, because they're all techniques that help to support your body. And so with that, I'm going to go back and rest. I am running a free series for women, which started last night. It's the only one thing I've done in my diary. Started last night, will be continuing for a week. for women who do too much and don't know how to stop. If you'd like to join, you're more than welcome. We will pop the link below. But otherwise, I hope that you are safe and well where you are, and I very much hope to be sounding more like myself again when I come back to do clinic notes next week. Take care.